The first 10 minutes of 1899 feels like a really jittery takeoff, however, just like most flights, become easier to handle once the plane is in the air. The show starts to find its footing soon enough. Using this metaphor is ironic, though, considering most of the show is in the water. Jantje Friese and Baran Odar created Dark 5 years ago for an audience unaware of what was in store for them. The Netflix original series justifiably became one of the biggest pop culture phenomenons thanks to its astonishingly original concept, unbelievable plot, and insane storytelling. Thanks to that, 1899 has been carrying the burden of humongous expectations ever since it was announced by Netflix as the next big thing by the Dark creators. People have already lost their minds by obsessing over possible themes and theories all over the internet. Both Netflix and the makers have been very protective about not giving anything away and have successfully managed to do that. But the moment of truth is finally here. After all this time, the world can see and judge 1899 now, and whether we consciously do it or not, comparison with Dark is bound to happen. In fact, at some point in the show, you might end up indulging yourself in ludicrous thoughts like, is this by any chance connected to Dark, or is Andreas Beichmann's character here actually Jonas Knield? It is still being determined whether or not the Friese and Baran are actually intended for such things, but without further ado and spoiling anything, we can safely say that it is a new story that has nothing to do with any other show. 1899 opens with the narrative about the human brain and the associated dreams and realities, along with immersive visuals of the sky, the ocean, and so many other landscapes, which would eventually make sense, quickly followed by a flash of memory or dream of the narrator. Within the span of 10 minutes, the show put most of its central characters into the middle of things. We meet the narrator, Maura Franklin, played by Into the Badlands actress Emily Beecham, a lone passenger of the steamship Kerberos, traveling to New York from London. Most of the subplots need to be fleshed out more to make us care for any of them. The acting of the ensemble cast is top-notch, though, especially of Beecham, who manages to earn enough sympathy for Maura. As far as the other two leads, Barnard is really good, but Beichmann seems to have a Dark hangover at times. In the bigger scheme of things, though, the undercooked characters hardly matter, as the show's focal point is its central mystery, which is interesting enough for the audience to keep going. However, it drags too long to give the answers. Finally, the infinite amount of time dialogues like "what is going on" uttered by its characters are disturbingly high, although not completely satisfactory. The ultimate twist is worthy enough to hold on to the show if you are wondering. One of the biggest strengths of Friese and Baran is their storytelling ability, which has no bound as in their hand. The story can become absolutely anything and shifts through so many genres like science fiction to horror to fantasy. 1899 is no exception, but the overambitiousness of the whole thing is probably why it could have landed more smoothly. 1899, to describe it properly, is a product of lots of ideas thrown into a blender, and the ideas could be more original as it reminds you of many other shows that are not Dark. The biggest USP of it is perhaps the absolutely brilliant and very suggestive soundtrack consisting of songs like a reimagined version of Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit as the intro to David Bowie's iconic Starman. It is both frustrating and fascinating to watch the mystery unfolding. A more focused and less convoluted second season can be expected, nonetheless, especially after the perfect cliffhanger ending, which literally changes everything.